Hello, and welcome to the Shattering of Row livestream. I'm Adam Bell, the design manager. This is Alan Vancouvering, our principal designer for content. And this is Shannon Parnell, our environmental art assistant manager. And we're going to start with Alan talking a little bit about the Shattering of Row.
Do you have a title?
Shattering of Relic. Basically, the story begins when people realize that the plane of magic has blown up. That's the kind way to put it. And Row has gone missing. Actually, she's dead, right?
Yes, been murdered.
She's been murdered, theoretically, by somebody. And so we're dealing with the fallout of all of that. The destruction of plane of magic causes issues throughout NORAD, not the least of which are wild magic storms and other such difficulties. And the players will be discovering what happened as they travel through that village, which we should volume. It's probably easier to talk about what's going on by looking at the zones.
Oh, yeah. And then, yeah. And this continues on the basic story we've had with, Soyusek Row being an angry guy and wanting to burn everything. Of course, he was mistreated by Mayong Mistmore and the Norathians in the past.
So, for those of you who are unaware, Soyusek Row and Row are relatives of some form or another. Sister brother, theoretically. So when she is killed, clearly that anger Soyusek gives him a reason, as much as an excuse, to begin taking revenge on people who he thinks is.
Right. Cool. And then Shannon will show us some of the art in the Plane of Growth, Scarred Grove.
We start with, there is a battle going on in Plane of Growth between Soyusek's forces with the assistance of course, Rallos, who will fight anytime, anywhere, being defended by Nathaniel Lord and, of course, Tuner, whose plane it is. And, of course, she's defended. And then Quilius is present, basically hating both sides.
Yep, so this is the embattled plane of growth. This was worked on by Jessica Wilkinson, and she's one of our newest additions to the team. Over the last few years, we've added to our team quite a few people, a handful of people, and they've all been spectacular additions to the team. Actually, yeah, first and foremost, how about hats off to our team leader, Kevin Leidy. Is it Leidy or Liddy? I've known him close to, quarter century, and I still don't know his name. Every time I say it differently every time, and he doesn't correct me.
Leidy.
Leidy? Yeah, see, I'm not so sure. I think it's not his actual name. He's alluded several times to be under the Witness Protection Program, so I'm sure it's a false identity. In any case, he's been our fearless leader for some time now, and he's done a great job leading us and assembling this team we have currently. A bunch of which are our newest additions, and Jessica's one of them, and she worked on this zone. And this area is the trail of destruction caused by Soyusek Row's forces. As you can see, all kinds of weapons, a scarred path. And it's leading us to the emergency wall that Tuner raised in defense that's crumbling as the battle rages on. And then I'll just take you over here to this very cool gateway.
Oh, yeah.
I love that.
I can't say enough about how great our team is. They put up with all the weird things I asked them to do. You'll see some of that later. Maybe the weirdest thing I've ever asked for.
And you come through the gateway and it leads to the big reveal of
Tree of Life.
Tuner's Burning Tree.
Yep.
Highlight of the zone. Highlight expansion. So revealed that to you right away. When Jessica was building this, she referenced forest fires and what grass looks like when it's burning. Kind of like as a reference to build upon. So we have that, and then we already saw the burning tree. And lastly, in this zone, we'll show you the. This is a war camp tucked away in between. Tucked between the war camp and the fire camp is a hospital tent, overtaken by flowers.
Yeah, where Quellius is helping both sides to heal.
Yeah.
Angering both sides, of course, at the same time.
Jessica mentions that this required a little bit of research into Quellius and her influence in past environments. So everywhere around her, flowers bloom. This little patch of color and light stands apart from the surrounding destruction.
I think that's her standing right there in front, in fact, if you were to go forward. Little tiny
Oh yeah.
thing that she is.
A little peek inside, hospital beds. Don't show too much.
You show anything you want.
But yeah, it's a great little vibrant contrast to kind of a war-torn zone, war-torn forest.
Yeah.
So really, really cool zone.
Fantastic.
Signature of Jessica's is vibrant colors. So we knew that she'd be really great making the zone.
Yeah.
Turned out really well.
Something I can't say we lack sometimes.
Right. Moving on. You want to move on to the next zone?
Adam
Yeah.
wants to talk about it.
Yeah. So in the plane of growth,
All right.
we actually have the content split between a good side and an evil side. The good side, of course, done by Tuner and Mythmar, led by, with your quest being given you by this Grove Seeker right here. Also note this little platform is one of the teleport items for the expansion. In here, Solyasek and Ralosek, with support of Inaruk, are invading and try to convince Tuner to lose her neutrality and allow the gods to break the pact, like we mentioned before. And Mitharniomar has joined her to help. The Grove Speaker will send players to gather reports on the movements of the Burning Legion and do some damage to the siege equipment and supplies. And then take the offensive to the Burning Legion and destroy some of them. And then on the other side, Flameshaper Severin sends you to invade the Tuner encampment to do some damage to their supplies since the invasion was stopped. And then you are sent to confirm that Inaruk soldiers have not been interfering. And then after those, both sides send you to look into the magic storms. You saw the new Tuner and Mythaniomar. And here's the awesome new Solyasek Row.
Being uncharacteristically stationary.
Yeah. They added some awesome animations to him, but of course he's deciding to not do them right now.
Yeah, the new models are amazing.
And from there, we'll go to Candlemakers.
That's you. Oh, you're already there.
Yep, I'm already here.
Way ahead of us. So
All right, this is Candlemakers, and this was made by another one of our young artists that we've added within the last few years. His name is Brad Saliga. He does a great job, especially with architecture. So we've got these couple buildings that are highlighted. This is Brell's workshop and campground/fortress area for his minions. Since Brell's a dwarven god, he wanted to his architecture to reflect that. So kind of focused on Lord of the Rings and D&D lore, where inspirations for this area for sure. But as you can see, really cool looking buildings on the outside here. Good candle details on the steps. I'd take you inside, but I don't know if I want to spoil it for you guys. We're going to leave that a surprise.
Pesky players everywhere.
Let's take you to another area in candles. These are the wax pits. Brad used real-world references of geysers and geothermal pools and cave fountains as main inspiration, along with tabletop miniatures. So this is a really cool area of some wax pools with a vertical effect to it.
Yeah, another one of my weird asks. Let's do wax.
Oh, that's just the beginning of your weird ass in this expansion.
I want, when you get to the next one, I want to talk about it a bit, because I could talk a while about these guys.
Let's do a last spot in Candlemakers. This is the Elder Tree. If you look up here, it's the orange one among the blue. And for this, Brad used world reference of ancient trees, many examples of these old trees being small and almost barely holding on. So Brad decided to make sure that it's smaller than the blue regular wax trees. So it certainly stands apart from the other ones. But yeah, this whole forest of wax trees is just really cool.
Another weird. I do want to talk for a second about the the lore behind these guys. So, Brell likes to make things and creatures. Again, part of the reason the pact has been so sketchy for all this time. He decided, so the Candlefolk are their souls or spirits or whatever you want to call it, live in their wicks. And so what happens when the candle will burn down, they have very short lifespans. And it's shown by the various heights of the Candlefolk. When they're down to just the wick, one of the candle masters will take the wick and place it under one of these trees, and then the wax will fall upon it and eventually rebuild the Candlefolk. And then they light back up again and begin their cycle. There's a lot of other weird stuff, but I don't want to go on. Because theoretically, there's also a wax. Those fonts that you saw before feed under this to keep the trees supplied with wax.
Right.
Cool. Well, in Candlemakers, you will speak with Melinda Sturdyboot. She is one of Brell's followers, and she'll guide you to clean up the outside of his workshop in order to gain access to the portal to the Shattered Islands. First, you'll deal with Soliosec and the Relosians that are here, and then you'll learn some more about the lore that Absor just mentioned on the Candlefolk. And then you'll help reestablish the Clockwork Gnome network that helps keep Candlemakers in shape. And for the other zones, we're going to leave the exploration of the quest lines up to you. But we will still just talk about the zones in general. So, Arkstone Ruins.
Arkstone Ruins. So this zone was worked on by both myself and Logan Hales. It was kind of easier for two separate artists to work on this because the zone is kind of broken up in separate aisles. Arkstone was affected by the explosion, obviously, and then separated into these separate floating islands, all which have different characteristics to it. So Logan worked on the first three here, this one being the lava isle. You kind of enter the floating lava field through lava tube. So Logan worked on this one.
Those two swirling spheres are the magic storms, by the way, if you haven't seen them yet.
Another amazing piece of art.
Very, very cool.
They look great.
Very cool. And yeah, once you exit the lava tube into this zone, you get a very panoramic view of the other isles that you can travel to, so it's enticing you to move on. Let's see here. Second location. This is the Undead Field. This is actually the third isle. Logan worked on this as well. You focus on this this tree. It's the battle-worn tree, so it continues to grow. And the main antagonist, Manifestation of Ravenglass, has been busy killing adventurers and adding shields to his collection on the tree. And Logan had fun transforming this tree from the original version into the centerpiece it becomes in Arkstone Ruins here.
Yeah, and just for clarity, obviously, Shannon said it, but this used to be Arkstone, which you guys, many of you have probably been in before. And I asked, we asked the art team to smash it into little pieces and scatter it about, which is not an easy task.
Not at all. It was fun though. But you'll notice that each little floating isle has different characteristics of the original Arkstone, so you kind of tell, that it's all pieced from the original. Last section area. This isn't the last one, obviously, because look, there's more that you can cruise up to. But this is the last one we'll show you from Arkstone. It's the Isle of Wild Growth, and I worked on this one myself. As this guy goes cruising by you, and features lush green area trees, vines, roots, foliage, and mushrooms, which grow over large pieces of the shattered tower. Those being over here, and these features lead to a lush clearing in which adventurers will encounter the main antagonist, Zanzarok, the Earth Root. Yeah, I had fun with this. I really enjoy creating environments that make you feel surrounded by all the stuff within. So it was really, really fun. Here's the field, the clearing. And that's what we'll show you of Arkstone.
So Relic is the sort of epicenter of the explosion.
So, yeah, there's a lot to talk about in Relic. You guys are all familiar with the doors that exist in the middle of Relic. Only one of which has ever been opened, at least that I remember. Now, well, later, in like 10 minutes, we'll show you what was behind them. But as far as Relic is concerned, it again asked Art to take a fully functional zone and smashed it into pieces. Which I'm surprised I didn't get yelled at more than I have.
There's still time. Yeah, so this is Ruined Relic. Basically I worked on this one, and basically took the original Geo and just broke everything up and created it, just shattered it into pieces. And you would think that'd be easy, but it's quite the opposite. I was telling these guys yesterday that it's actually easier to just create this zone from scratch. But I wanted to take the original Geo just to make sure that it held true to the way everything was laid out and looked. And so I took the time to break everything up and just wanted to highlight this area. This is the zone in, so you guys will probably recognize this little teleporter area. And then you can actually just cruise around and walk along all this battered rubble. And you might recognize this area as well, but this is the little merchant area that's been ripped in half by this explosion.
You know, they're still trying to do business. Amazing.
Hey, you got to make that money.
Yep.
Yeah, so just wanted to highlight that. And I think you could see behind the main
sphere.
vortex,
Yeah.
with all the rubble rotating around it. That was really fun to make.
And that big sphere is the Vortex Zone, so it does have a sort of TARDIS effect where it's bigger on the inside.
It's a hell of a lot bigger on the inside.
Yeah. So this is just a view from up above. You guys remember all the walkways, the platforms. They're all torn apart. and yet still travelable.
Well, that's there are okay. Just to talk about this a little bit, most of the Skryken, which I suppose many of you are aware that they are a bit crazy to begin with. This has not made them better. They're worse off than they used to be. However, some of them are still functional and still have access to some of their magic. So they are the reason that any of these walkways are still working, rather than just plummeting down to Arkstone.
Well, that being said, and we're talking about the Vortex, let's go into it.
We had an interesting conversation about how to put a zone inside a zone. And then somebody said TARDIS, and we went, oh, that's how you do it.
You want to tell us about Vortex?
Yeah, so Vortex is where it all happened. Whatever destroyed Plane of Magic happened here. And those are the doors I was talking about right there. As I said, you've been through one of them, if anybody remembers. It's a little side thing from years ago. But no one's ever really known what's behind them. And as Shannon shows you the zone, you'll see what it used to do is they're doorways to places that Druzzle was exploring. Other universes, pocket dimensions, whatever she got her hands on. And when the place blew up, all of this stuff was expelled through the doorways before they closed. And these are remnants of other places, other realities, whatever weird stuff Druzzle was exploring at the moment. So you'll see, this is probably, like I was saying before, the weirdest thing I've ever asked for. So you've got cloth, you've got biomechanical stuff, you've got frozen water, which probably wasn't frozen before it showed up, and all sorts of other things, like the feathers and stuff. It's crazy what they've done here. It's amazing.
Yeah, we first read this design doc, and we all fought over who was going to work on this. No, not
Who
really.
was not going to work on it?
Yeah.
Who drew the short straw anyway?
Yeah, so Brad worked on this, and he did an excellent job. I mean, I couldn't imagine coming up with a better zone just from the description. Yeah, like you said, the description is outlandish.
It was challenging just to put it on a piece of paper.
Pretty insane, but came out really, really cool, I think.
It's amazing.
Yeah, this first section is, I think this is the frozen section.
I want to point out there's a key item in view right now that I'm not going to call out exactly, but there's something important in view before Shannon goes somewhere else. So, several of them, in fact.
Yeah, Brad says because the zone was grounded in reality, he had to create these dimensional explosions from references of singular elements. So this is the ice explosion. It needed to be angled upwards, but flat enough for targeting enemies. So you can actually go through this portal doorway, which is in reference to the one on the wall, and cruise up through this ice passage. And I mean, you guys, this zone is massive.
It's huge.
It just travels and travels. So you'll be here for quite some time, enjoying yourself for sure. That's just a tease of that.
There's a lot of verticality too.
For sure. Here's kind of a reveal through the feather dream, or what have you.
Is that what I called it? I'm sorry about that.
But it's this. I mean, this came out great.
Yeah.
I just love traveling through here.
And we invented these painted vultures.
Look at that, you guys.
Those are the babies.
That's just insane.
The feather that they are walking on comes from a full-grown adult.
Yeah. So you travel through here, and Brad wanted to highlight the end for you guys. Not the end, but just a point of interest.
I'm sure you'll see corpses when you get in there.
Yeah.
So it's the end for somebody. But you have to imagine that this is a nest. Whatever creature it was that laid those eggs is very large.
Yeah, I guess this will be the first nest the players encounter in the feather explosion. You had fun set dressing the nest area with existing bones and eggs. He had to scale up the dragon and ogre skull.
Yeah.
That would give him a more monstrous and prehistoric feel. So, I mean, this is huge. It's a huge area, but it looks really, really cool. And just to travel through that feather tunnel is madness. This last area we'll show you is the cloth explosion. Brad was in charge of sculpting out the cloth mesh and set dressing the area. As you can see, it's pretty crazy, very wavy, right? Organic cloth is going to go this way and that. But in terms of the actual texture of it, they found that, and Alan Bond worked on the textures along with Brad. They found that coming up with a plaid texture would help navigation, just because it gives you like a little direction and readability. So I think it really came out well.
I love those particles. The little cloth.
Oh yeah, little cloth particles everywhere. Red, green, blue paisley.
And it's still integrated with the ruins from the previous zone.
And you guys, this is just a fraction of this zone and the craziness that's going on in it. So
Yeah,
you can see in the background here. There's so much for you guys to explore. It's going to be
yeah.
amazing.
There's the jellyfish. There's the cloctopuses. There's all kinds of weird stuff in this. This zone, I think, has more unique NPCs in it than anything I've ever seen.
This zone, yeah, we love you for this because it's basically seven
Don't put
zones.
sarcasm in it.
7 zones in one. And yeah, we love when you guys do that to us, and we have to make 10 times the amount of textures, and yeah,
I knew I was going to get in
Okay,
trouble,
we
but
could
did it anyway.
we can do that real quick. But no, they did a great job. Brad did an
Yeah,
awesome
it's
job.
Fantastic.
Alan helped on this. Logan helped on this. I mean, it's that large that we had to have multiple hands on it. So
Yeah.
it came out really, really cool.
And all of this is inside that bubble.
Yep,
Yeah.
all this inside the vortex explosion.
And you can obviously see the relationship between the magic storms and the vortex. They're meant to be similar. So that's why they're round rather than tornadoes or some other weird.
Yeah, and if you travel out far enough, you will see on the outskirts. You'll see the actual vortex that you're inside
I'm
of.
pointing, but none of you know what I'm pointing at. Up there in the top of the screen is chunks from the original.
That's right. Yeah, and you can see the rotating rubble
From outside.
flying around from
Yeah,
outside.
The stuff that you saw before from outside.
That's right.
Yeah.
All right, that'll take us to Spite. If there was anything else you want to talk about Vortex, no?
No, I'm good. I mean, I could, but we have to then.
Oh my gosh, there's so much like. Look at that, you guys.
Yeah, I think the cloctopus stuff is
We-
one of my.
We didn't want to show that off. We wanted to save some good stuff for you. So
And then Spite is another plane. We debated whether to talk too much about it. Let's just say this is the Labyrinth of Spite. And you guys can figure out if you know who would run the Labyrinth of Spite. You guys probably know who that is, but I'm not going to mention it.
Spite was worked on by Chris Merlot, one of our outstanding environment artists. Chris has always been a fan of the lore behind Planet Hate and Dark Elves, so really wanted to work on Labyrinth of Spite. I enjoyed running through this as well because I worked on Hey Plane B back in the day.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh man.
I know, I am totally. So it brings back a lot of memories, but Chris did a really great job with this. This is the what do we call in this area?
Trap hallway.
Trap hallway, yeah. Swinging blades. So this is like a maze. It's a labyrinth that players are gonna run through, and this was the first area that Chris worked on. Lives up to its name and the various traps and surprises hidden throughout the zone. The center courtyard and swinging blades were some of the earliest areas blocked out, in part because of the needed spaces for the blades and the pits underneath. So Chris worked on this area initially and then branched out the rest of the zone from here.
Go on.
Just
You knew that was
right
gonna
when we walked in, but Chris just wanted to highlight this little
There it is.
this little guy right here.
Pretty funny because when I first wandered through the zone, I thought those were NPCs.
Yeah,
They're environment art.
yeah. Spirits of Spite, calling them. Hid these little spirits everywhere throughout the zone as an added jump scare.
It worked.
They're sitting on benches, staring down corridors, even a few latched to the ceiling. So keep your eye out, guys. You'll see them everywhere.
Oh We should have like a find them all like a Disney quest.
Oh yeah, that's a
Yeah.
good idea.
Too late now.
Next time. This last area we'll show is the Labyrinth Prison. So the cage was a challenge because it was supposed to be this big set piece, but still small enough to make the occupant feel uncomfortable. And it's up there.
Another really great piece.
Yeah, it looks really cool. Great centerpiece. Chris sketched out an idea for the silhouette and kept it very spiky and jagged, as you can see. The final prison ended up being a 5-piece assembly that ascends into the sky. It's already ascended, as you can see, but it'll be down here sometimes.
And bats.
And lots of bats. But yeah, this is just the centerpiece to a great courtyard within the labyrinth. An homage to Hate Plane as well, as you can see in the architecture. Really, really cool.
There's a fair amount of lore here, but I don't want to get into it because it's a little spoilery at this point.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think we showed you a bunch, and there's so much more to see, you guys, but we're going to cut it at that and leave the rest for surprise. But we do have a lot of other stuff to go over and a lot to show you, so hope you enjoyed what you saw.
Hello. So we wanted to talk about some of the features that are coming with the Shattering of Row expansion. One of the first things that there will be is the new race class combination, the Vashir Druid. Give me a moment, and I'll show you the guild leader for the Vashir Druids. And you'll see here Elder Naturian Samir. She is the freshly elevated leader of the Vashir Druids. There is a fully implemented quest line that goes through about the same as other newbie races in Charval. Starts with the Acrylia Slate quest and all the way up to one of the cloaks.
Switch to his screen. There you go. Not mine, his. Other one. I'm not ready yet.
So there's some here. And then from there, I will show you some of the pack-ins that you will get. While we're going there, I will mention the one of the other things everybody gets with the expansion, with the purchase of the expansion, is 2 new shared bank slots. Gives you more general space and more space to transfer things. It seems to take a moment for this texture to draw in, but this is the painting, the key art painting. It does look good after the texture draws in.
Trust us.
Or don't.
This mount, this butterfly as one of the metamorph ones. The
I love that guy. Yeah.
bee mount, along with his nice little store of pollen. And you actually get one of the magic storms to follow you around also as a metamorph.
Baby version.
I love that mount.
Yeah. So there, after it finished drawing in, you can see it's a very good quality painting.
Oh, it's great. It's great key art. What do you expect?
Yep. And so that's some of what you will get with when you purchase the collector's editions of the expansions. And now we'll talk about some of the raids. Alan.
Dope. So yeah, it's difficult to actually talk about raids without running through the raid, and we certainly don't want to spend an hour in each one of these. But I'll show you some of the bosses and some of the locations. This is in Candlemakers Workshop. This is what we call the Waxwork Abolition. Don't ask me why I called it that. I did. Thing is really cool. Sort of based on the what are they called? War gods from Nausicaa. Sort of, but in wax instead of flesh.
That guy's awesome.
He's really cool. I'm not going to be able to run you through all these raids, but this is the first raid in the expansion. Let me take you to. I actually don't know what sequence this one is anymore. But there are 2 events in Arkstone, and I'll show you the second one because there's more visually going on there than the first one, I guess. But while this guy is still glaringly stuck on the screen as we don't move, this guy will split into parts, so you get to deal with more than one of him throughout the event. I was hoping that was enough to...
Apparently not.
It is not, no. I clicked the button too fast, so now it's trying to zone me where it can't, and it's going to tell me it couldn't. And I've been doing this long enough that I should have known better and waited a few seconds, but I did not, because I'm anxious.
But yeah,
You're anxious to show them the good stuff.
there are challenges based on the splits, whether you can do them quickly or slowly.
Error. Now we're really going to go to the next one. Looks a little dark. I guess I should have hit that torch button. We're going to go to Arkstone. And the second event in Arkstone. This is Torm the Golden. He asks you to deal with the Colossus of Skylands, who... there he is. I knew he was here somewhere. Is like most of the native creatures in these exploded Plane of Magic zones. He's lost it. He's doing a pretty good job of holding it together, but he is... these golems here are busy cleaning up this rubble, tossing it into these storms which destroy it. Magical chunks of somethings from somewhere, I don't even know. They chuck them in there, and then these guys chuck these more solid pieces in there. He, of course, doesn't care because he's the Colossus of Skylands. So you have to... No one's been able to travel through this space because he just crushes anybody who comes along, so the repair work can't get done. All this stuff is still floating around up here. That thing is still there, floating up in the middle of the air.
The bones of Skylance the Dragon.
Yep. People worry about that, by the way. Why is that floating around up there? He's supposed to be dead. But, Plane of Magic stuff. So you get to fight this guy. I don't want to spend too long describing the event. I probably should stop swinging my camera around like a crazy person. But it involves dealing with his magical abilities. And, of course, involves those storms. Again, I feel bad because I'm taking time to say nothing about all these, but I'm going to do it anyway. And then there's Relic, where we have also 2 events. I think I'll take you to the first one.
You're teasing them. That's what you're supposed to be doing.
Or the second one? No, first one. I'll take you to the first one. So, in Relic, famously there are 3 dragons. Ashenback, Shattering and Skuit, whose name I do not know how to pronounce. I don't think anybody does. Only Skuit, the silver dragon, I believe he is at all functional anymore. Protected himself in a barrier, whereas Ashenback here, and I think he's up there. Nope, where is he? The other one. Shardran is over there, maybe? I don't know. He's over there. He's on that one. You can't see him, but he's over there. And these two have, just like everything else, they've kind of lost it. So you have to deal with him. You have to subdue him. Otherwise, again, no repairs can get done. Nobody can get past here to rescue anybody who might be in need of help up there. Same thing with Shardran, who's hiding over there. So you have to deal with these guys in order to get the rescue operations working properly. And because eventually they might just take their suffering out on somebody else. I'm gonna take them into the Vortex. So the Vortex is interesting because it's full of Skryken, who again lost what little mind they had to begin with, and one of them, Talengast, has reverted to egg form. Now, until I read up on the lore, I was unaware that Skryken are born from eggs. It seems weird to me. I don't know why anyone would have decided that was the case, but it appears to be true. So Talengast has reverted to egg form. Doesn't, however, make him any less crazy or dangerous. He hangs out here. There's a Skryken who calls herself Nanny, who has gone about rescuing all of the Skryken eggs, and will place them here during the event. She appears, drops down some eggs to keep them safe, and then disappears again. And Talengast is protecting the brood, or just eating anything that comes by. A little bit of both, I suppose. And your job is to, again, subdue him. You probably don't have to kill him, but you got to subdue him. Unfortunately, some of the eggs that are brought in fact, most of the eggs that the Nanny rescues have been wildly tainted by the crazy magic going on in here, and are themselves dangerous. There are a few functional eggs left, and if you can, you're asked to protect them. So you get to fight crazy-looking Eggman here, who is, again, crazy-looking. And then I really want to show this one off because this model impresses me. We thought, well, what would the boss of a Spite Zone be? And everybody was thinking Spider, maybe Minotaur because it's a maze. So we didn't combine the two. We went more with the Spider, and we called it Spite Tangle. It's a bunch of webs or something of spite, like threads of spite, wound into a monster. It's probably my favorite weird model that I've asked for recently. Look, the wall. This young lady here is hiding behind the monster, who is over here, because you don't want to be in front of it. And this thing is crazy pants, as Katie would say.
Oh, that is amazing. Look at that.
Let me click the torch button so maybe we can see it. Torch. Nope, no. So he's got eyes all over him. He's got tentacles that may or may not do anything. And he's clearly quite angry. But he looks a lot like a spider, but not, a spider exactly. So you get to deal with this guy and all of his minions. He lives here in the sewer under Spite. Shannon was showing you what was up there.
Yep.
This is the underneath.
Yep. Oh, that's gonna be fun.
And he's just crazy. I keep saying crazy, but I love this thing. It's so weird. And if I saw this in my dreams or in a dark alley, I'd be out of here. So you fight him here, and he also spawns stuff off in the maze that you have to go hunt down and get rid of. Again, I'm not going to run the fight here, but
yeah, that's seriously impressive.
Yeah, I love this guy, and the animations are just creepy. You have? Yeah. Okay. That's about all I have.
Okay.
I don't know what's next, but
So now we'll go on to the Q&A.
oh, the scary part.
Yes. They would like you to recap the Embattled Plane of Growth lore again because your audio was low.
Oh, was it?
Yep.
Well, so Druzzle's been killed, Plane of Magic's been exploded, and Solusek, who A is her brother and B likes to, burn things, has teamed up with Rallis to come and find out what happened and get the person responsible for doing it. I'm trying to be on camera. And so they first actually went to Candlemakers because it was a way for them to get in. They had to find sort of gods can't just walk into each other's planes, as we remember from the whole storyline for Rallis attacking the plane of growth, or the plane of Earth. So they found a way in, reasons to be explained later, into Candlemakers. So you'll see in Candlemakers, you'll see remnants of forces that were left behind there, now being led, as you'll find in the second raid there, that by a bunch of relatively incompetent dummies. The main forces have moved on and breached plane of growth, seeking answers to what happened. And so they are there, opposed by Tunair, of course, who it's her place, and Nathaniel Marr, who likes to defend the righteous and all that. Inaruk is involved. He's there, hanging out, sending forces, but not necessarily present because it's not his stand-up fights is not his thing. And Quellius is there, healing both sides, which makes neither side happy, of course. So that's the general thing that's going on there. They're currently at a standoff, more or less, and players are asked to involve themselves in either side.
Cool. Next question is, will these new God NPC models be retroactively replaced in older models? Or do we want to keep nostalgia and original content? In general terms, we will be leaving the older ones away. We did replace Drizzle Rowe just because the older representations of her were just human female, and we didn't think that was representative of her at all. So we decided to retroactively change her. But in general cases, we are going to just let them be what they were.
People often prefer that we leave the old models on. So
yeah, and our general thought is, like you mentioned there, nostalgia. Let people see the older models in the older zones. So in Relic, you mentioned it a little bit, but how difficult was it to create the floating pieces in their flight path?
Yeah, so the floating pieces, the rubble, there was multiple avenues in which we could attack that. Animated objects, switch placements, which are kind of like a whole different type of object, but we just have to make sure that the floating pieces will loop, because you don't want them jumping all over the place. So just loop continuously. The challenges, I think, were mostly in lighting, making sure that they fit into the environment with everything else. But other than that, not too difficult. Just make sure that we had a lot of different pieces so that they don't look all the same, and you have just a lot of crazy floating stuff all over. So I think it worked out really well. Yeah.
Cool. There's a question about any chance we're still working on some balance stuff. There's some good posts. Yes and no. We are taking notes. There might be balance changes up to today, but actually, after we're done here, we are going to be closing publishing of changes to the expansion because we need a little bit of bake time for bugs. So there won't be any new changes, but any glaring bugs we still have some time to fix. Will character illusions be updated as well to reflect the new models? No, the illusions that include the older gods will stay the older gods.
Yeah, most of those are like the toys from Bristlebane, right? They're meant to be puppets, a lot of them.
Right.
So,
They're not meant to be the actual gods. Again, how was the creation of the Vortex environment created? Was it different process than a usual zone?
I would definitely say so. Like, technically, no. But conceptually, absolutely. Just because of the great design concept we got from Alan here. But
you don't have to be nice to me. It's not a requirement.
I alluded to it earlier. I mean, it was basically like, and it's massive, but there's really like 6 or 7 zones within one zone. And so had to take that in consideration in terms of amount of textures and readability and file size and player technicalities. So there was a lot of planning that went into it. I think initially the thought process, the design into how everything was going to look and how everything was going to meld together, that took a lot of time. And then once you start actually building it, then it starts to flow. But I think, initially it was very, very different from any other zone. And like I said before, I think that it just came out amazing with all the challenges that were brought on in the forefront.
Yeah, I'm impressed that I expected to get a lot of kickback on the number of textures, right? Because there's
Absolutely.
what, 6 or 7 distinct texture sets.
Correct.
And I expected, we can't do all of these.
Right. Yeah.
But the fact that you guys pulled it off is very impressive to me.
I was really impressed. So I mean, that's a job well done. Again, Brad and Logan and Alan, everybody that worked on it. It came out really, really cool. So you guys will really like it.
Okay, this one's for each of us to take a turn. So, Alan, what was the most unique thing about developing this expansion?
Unique.
Yes.
Unique. Well, it's hard to think of unique when you've been doing this as long as we have. I have to say, it was I don't think we've ever tried to put a zone inside a zone before. And when that idea came up, like I said, the whole idea of, I had expected it, the relic part to be sort of a small zone, right? Like there'd be this big thing in the middle, so we couldn't put a whole bunch of stuff around it because we only can go so big. And the fact that somebody, I don't remember who it was, said, well, we don't have to do that. Might have been Kevin, who just said, nope, we can just go shoop, and it can be, the thing in the middle can be small. Yep. Because magic, plane of magic. Somebody smacked me across the side of the head and oh yeah, plane of magic. So I think that might be it, but other than that, it was just, I think I've read the next question, so I'll stop there. Because I'm saving the next answer for the next question.
Yeah, I'll jump in and say that it was, the whole concept. It was very different from anything we've really worked on. We've had dreamscapes and stuff like that, but working with an exploding zone, something that's just blown apart, and then in the middle of it, we're inside the actual explosion. It very, very unique, but I think it came out really, really cool.
For me, it was the complexity of the Charval newbie quests compared to the Dark Elf newbie quest. It was quite a challenge to get the depth that it has. So it was, for me, the most unique thing I had to deal with. Even though it seems like I'm doing something old, it's something we haven't done in 25 years or so. So it was unique.
And a lot of work.
Yeah. So next question is similar. What has been your favorite thing in the expansion so far, Alan?
Oh, me?
Yeah.
I love it when I can just take something weird and make a whole bunch of lore about it. And when the idea of Candlefolk came up, just trying to invent a life cycle for candle people was fun as hell. So I really enjoyed doing that. And then trying to convey that into a zone art and the actual models, right? So the fact that they came up, they were able to give me progressively smaller candle folk, so we could show them shrinking and arms disappearing and stuff. It's
I love those models. They came out so
yeah,
good.
they really are. They're really hilarious. So just being able to deep dive into any lore element like that, even though it may not even be all that evident or important for the storyline, I very much enjoy doing that.
I think for me the most enjoyable thing was probably working with another zone artist. We so often, over through the years, we've been doing this for quite some time. Yeah, you guys.
Yeah.
I've worked on zones just by myself and doing everything from the textures to animation to the terrain, the objects, everything on my own. And we've come to a point where we're working a lot with other artists in conjunction with other artists to work on one zone. So, for instance, Arkstone Ruins I worked on with Logan, as I told you earlier, and we kind of split it up. But when you're working with somebody else, you still have to make sure that everything melds together and it has a certain flow to it. It was kind of easier for us with Arkstone Ruins because you have separate floating islands that have a whole different vibe and feel to it, different characteristics. But at the same time, we still have to make connections between one and the other. So that was probably my favorite part, working with Logan. Enjoyed that process and getting all those islands together and getting that zone into fruition and seeing it complete. And it came out great. So that was my favorite part.
My favorite part's pretty behind the scenes. Our QA team's always been awesome, but this year, due to timing and just how much more practice they've had, the raids were in such an excellent place when we started raid testing that it was a breeze. And of course, the players helping us with the raid tests were just awesome. So just doing the raid testing felt so much better this year than some of the previous years because almost everything was in a functional state as we were testing it because it had already been through passes of QA and Alan fixing bugs before we even got started.
Yeah, there were a lot of them. Yeah, and I just want to take the second to shout out our raid testers, the beta testers, are always super helpful, and our QA. Our QA team is amazing. I couldn't do any of this without both of those groups. So
our next question is, will you make Vashir Druids available on TLP servers? Yes, they are available on TLP servers with Lucklin open as long as you have purchased the Shattering of Row expansion. When it goes off sale, it'll be available as a separate purchase on the marketplace as well, when Shattering of Row is no longer available. Is there a way to change personas in the new expansion? There is not. I am considering adding the Kelios tints within the Shattered Grove as locations where you can change, but it will not be there at launch. Just because, among the other things, it just didn't happen. But realistically, there's no logical place anywhere else in the expansion for a persona change to happen. What challenges do you have in making a 27-year-old game engine do new things? Most of that's actually our engineering team. They keep giving us new and better tools. They just really have kicked ass, giving us just awesome changes to the game.
Yeah, art is actually getting a little bump up, coming here very soon. So the following expansion, not so much this one, but the following expansion, there's going to be some art tech upgrades. So it's we're ever evolving, even though we're an older game. We're always trying to make it better for sure.
Yeah, another worthy shout out to our engineering team.
Yeah,
again,
absolutely.
You ask for something new, and again, it's 27-year-olds. You expect somebody to say no, but they almost never do.
Yeah.
So it's amazing.
And it's a question, are there more art assets, new NPC models in this expansion compared to the last few? The zones might be a little larger because they have more people to work with it.
Yeah.
And we did get slightly more NPC models,
Yeah.
but not a lot.
It's mostly the gods, right?
Yeah.
They were kind of the over-the-top part.
And they were thrown in late, which the art team did not appreciate us doing, but we realized that, no, we just can't put the old Tenaire in this zone because Scarred Grove just could not have that old model and look right.
Oh, yeah, and another shout-out, our character art team.
Oh,
Also
yeah, for sure.
fantastic. Like, the stuff they do is amazing. I know I say that a lot, but it's true.
Okay.
So.
And give me a moment, and we'll show you some of the swag that you can get in the store.
That moment will be taken up by Jen creeping across the screen.
So we have the poster, which is some green screening out, but it is the background that you see behind us.
Yeah.
With the EverQuest
Oh, that's hilarious.
in the top corner.
I like the greens, the little
Yeah, what
poke
was that?
through. So it looked like a Q.
And then
Oh, it was this. Yeah, yeah.
a large mat for your mouse and your keyboard.
I gotta say, I really like these because there's a lot of color.
Oh yeah, very vibrant.
Yeah.
The print is awesome, you guys.
So
It's
when I was
really
walking
clear.
up to the table where these were sitting earlier, I just drawn to the reds and the greens.
Yep.
'Cause
And then smaller versions, the same thing. Yeah, the green screen is the Tenaire's green,
which
you know,
can-
nature
yeah, which you can see on
product
the
that
thing
you see
there.
behind us.
But is that
And a
smaller
mouse pad size.
Oh, desk pad and mouse pad. Okay, I see.
Yeah.
That's a word I didn't know about. Desk pad.
Thank you very much for coming to our live stream of the Shattering of Row expansion.
Yeah, hope you enjoy it.
Hope to see you all in game.
Thanks, you guys. Have fun.
Oh yes, and you want the release date. The release date is December 2nd. Thank you very much.
I guess we're doing thumbs up.
Thumbs up.